Investigators were back this Monday at the site of the deadly plane crash in Howland over the weekend. All 6 on board Sunday morning were killed when the plane went down at around 7 a.m. in a backyard and wooded area about 2 miles west of the Youngstown Warren Regional Airport near King Graves Road and Hen Hyde Road. Local officials believe that it could take until the middle of the week to examine the aircraft wreckage thoroughly, and we've reported the latest on that this hour here on 21 News at 5. We're bringing back FAA airline transport rated pilot and Kent State University Associate Professor of Aeronautics, Jason Lorenzon, right now for his insight. Jason, you speak about FAA investigations, the NTSB leading this investigation now. What's the process for that on site as investigators with the NTSB, use their expertise to comb through the crash site?
Yes, thank you so much, Lindsay. Of course, the aviation industry is so small. Of course, we're such a small community. Hearts and prayers go out to the family of the victims of this crash, and it's always sad when something like this happens. And then the role of the NTSB right now is quite simple, is to get to the cause of the accident. And they're going to look at a number of factors. So first, yesterday, after the accident, the Highway State Patrol is alerted. They have jurisdiction to preserve the wreckage, take care of the, if there was injuries, of course, now the deceased, officially making it an accident. Now the NTSB and the FAA. First, the FAA is called in to determine it's an accident. Then the FAA comes in to continue the investigation. And the FAA will be what's considered a party and a witness also to the investigation. The NTSB will appoint what's called an investigator in charge, and they will actually oversee the entire investigative process, and which is going to be pretty intense. They're going to be looking at the flight path. They're going to be looking at the actual aircraft itself to try and determine what that probable cause is.
This was a Cessna 441. Can you describe its capabilities? Is that a smaller plane in the aeronautics world?
Well, it is a general aviation aircraft, but it is what's called cabin class. So it has pressurization. It can fly high. Not as high as a jet, but it can go up to about, I believe it's 24,000 feet, so it gets above most of the weather. So it is a aircraft that's pretty capable. It is a piston aircraft with 2 engines, but again, it's pretty big inside the interior. Again, the investigators are going to be looking at the capabilities of yesterday being hot and humid and the weather factors as well.
Okay. I want to stress we do not know the cause of this crash, and the investigation, like you said, still thoroughly underway. The plane was only in the air about 7 minutes. What are the common causes of crashes with these smaller planes when you take into consideration that short amount of time and what they're going to have to look at and review in terms of, like you said, the flight pattern and the makeup of this airplane?
So the flight pattern, they're going to be looking at that to determine, was there an engine failure? Was there some sort of mechanical failure on the aircraft itself? Now, every aircraft that you see flying, whether it's a large air transport category aircraft, at certain intervals, at least once a year, depending on the flying time, it could have a phase check, but at least once a year, if not every 100 hours of flying time, the plane is actually thoroughly inspected. Every plane that you see flying is thoroughly inspected at least once a year or every 100 hours of flying, sometimes sooner. So they're going to be going through, the NTSB is going to be going through all those logbooks, all that information. Was there a problem with the engine? How many hours were on the engine? It doesn't necessarily go by miles like you would on an odometer in a car, but it goes by hours of operation time, something we call takt time. Was there a mechanical issue? Was there an oil breather line that perhaps something came loose on the engine itself to cause an engine failure? Was there fuel contamination? Was there pilot error? A lot of times in most crashes, and I want to say that in this case, but a lot of times it's pilot error. But a lot of times it's not either. It could be something mechanical, something wrong with the plane. It could have been loaded incorrectly. Again, those are the things that the investigator in charge, alongside with the FAA, are going to be looking at and investigating pretty thoroughly.
Jason, thank you for taking the time. Sorry for your loss. Our heart breaks for the victims, their family and friends. Our thoughts are with them. Jason, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here.
Thank you.